Welcome back. A three-man panel of justices at the Benin Division of the Court of Appeal has ruled that the ex-governor, James Ibori, who is currently serving a 13-year jail term in a London prison, has a case to answer. This is coming 6 years after Justice Marcel Abokuleyin struck out all 170 charges of money laundering preferred against Mr. Ibori by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Displeased with the controversial ruling by Justice Abokuleyin, then of the Federal High Court, Asaba, the EFCC had approached the appellate court to set aside the judgment on the grounds that the court erred in law. The appeal was predicated on 4 grounds. 1, that the trial judge looked at the proof of evidence and evaluated same as if the prosecution had called all its witnesses and trial had been concluded. Secondly, that the procedure is by way of summary trial and not trial by indictment or information. Thirdly, that the proof of evidence clearly shows that a prima facie case has been disclosed against the respondent and that his lordship erred when he held that no case was disclosed against the respondent. Fourthly, that the judgment is unwarranted, unreasonable, and against the weight of proof of evidence filed by the prosecution in support of the charges.
First Bank, truly the first.
Welcome to Business News. I am Adeshewa Josh. Nigeria's inflation rate edged up in April to 7.9% from 7.8% in March, owing to an increase in food prices. Food price inflation inched up to 9.4% in April from 9.3% the previous month. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, food prices rose slightly as a result of higher prices in the bread and cereals, meat, fish and fruits classes. However, April inflation was within the central bank's target rate of 6 to 9% in 2014. The Apex Bank has a longer-term goal of reducing inflation to around 5% by the end of 2015. In the meantime, Nigeria plans to reweigh its inflation index by the end of the year, using 2009 as its base year instead of the current 2004 to reflect the impact of non-food items on prices more accurately. Also, the federal government has issued a 3- and 10-year bond to domestic pension and offshore funds, raising 70 billion naira yields lower than at its previous auction in April. The Debt Management Office said it sold the 3-year bond at 11.09% to raise 35 billion naira, 2.05 percentage points lower than the same tenor fetched at an auction in April. It also sold 35 billion naira of the 10-year paper at 12.54%, compared with 13.1% last month. Dealers say demand was strong at 141.04 billion naira for the shorter bond and 97.99 billion for the longer one. Unilever Nigeria PLC has revealed plans to partner foreign investors and global suppliers to develop local materials in order to enhance local content of manufacturing. At its 89th annual general meeting held in Lagos today, shareholders were informed that the company is also increasing investment in its operations to expand production capacity. Our correspondent, Kelvin Obetin, reports.
For the 89th time, shareholders and board members of Unilever PLC are meeting to receive the report and audited financial statements for 2013, as well as review the company's performance within the period. A summary of the results shows a significant increase in revenue. Turnover grew by 8% compared to 1.5% in 2012, while operating margin was 13.1% with earnings per share of 1.27 naira.
I hereby move the motion that a dividend...
The board also declared dividend payout of 4.72 billion naira at 1.25 naira. Shareholders may be pleased with the performance, but needed clarification in some areas.
We are always very critical of growing receivables, and it is very important to help shareholders. Companies should please analyze the receivables as it was and as it is.
When you spoke about receivables, adjustments have been made to make the Unilever terms for our distributors more competitive. That has meant that we have to invest in our distributors in order that they can also make the investments that are required to carry the growth agenda forward.
Even though there is a slight drop in profit, Unilever says the results are reflective of short-term effects of a deliberate investment strategy.
You can always do better, there's no doubt about that. Even if the profit doubled, you could do better by tripling it. But I'm saying that overall, we've done a balancing act to invest more towards the future because of the significant growth we foresee.
We've stepped up investments behind our brands quite significantly, the modernization of our technology, ensuring that we are investing more into our distribution capability. And these will continue. You have to build today so that you will be able to reap tomorrow.
The company promises to continue to channel its profits into building a more enduring business and to fully harness opportunities in the Nigerian market. Kelvin Obetin, Channels Television News.
Well, trading at the Nigerian equities market ended in the red today as key indicators shed 0.46%. Market capitalization now stands at 12.83 trillion naira. Bisi Koka tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the stock market reports. The bears returned to the Nigerian equities market today as key indicators dipped back into negative territory after 3 consecutive days of positive trade. The key broad index tumbled by 0.46% to finish the day's session at 38,957.47 with a market capitalization of 12.83 trillion naira. Market breadth was fair as 29 stocks appreciated while 26 declined. Sky Shelter was a day's top price loser with a 5 naira drop. Now, Seplat Petroleum Development Company and Mobil also recorded losses below 5 naira each. Leading the day's price appreciators was Forte Oil with a 5 naira 95 kobo increase in its share price ahead of Nigerian breweries and Total. Bank stocks dominated on the volume chart with FBN Holdings pulling the highest number of units. At the end of the day's session, volume dropped to 291.57 million units, valued at 4.42 billion naira and exchanged in over 5,000 deals. And that ends the stock market reports. I am Bisi Koka.
And that's business news this hour. The news at 10 continues shortly.
First Bank, truly the first.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10, quarter-finalists engage at the Lagos preliminaries of Channel's Kids Cup. That's on Sports News, so do stay with us.